Rowing parents, this one's for you. If you're new to the sport of rowing as a parent, it can be a steep learning curve. Early mornings, erg tests, dirty socks, endless trips to the lake. Let's chat to someone with experience. You've obviously had quite a few years of rowing, you've got a lot of experience. When you first started, what was it like? What did your mum, she's obviously quite experienced in sport, what was that like?
I think it was quite the change for the both of us. Growing up, I got very used to game sports and the way in which those kind of work and operate and run, and I think it's very similar for my mum, who grew up doing volleyball, basketball, had a career in netball. So coming into a sport like rowing, where it's so different, racing rather than having those kind of games and tournaments, and instead going to a regatta that we have here at Papuki a few times a year, just shifting the mindset on how to approach a sport like rowing. I definitely found it was more of a full-time commitment than any other sport that I've been in.
And yet you're still doing it all these years later.
I think I just don't know how to quit. No, it is like an incredible environment. Spending so much time with just your own team, the same group of people, day in, day out. You learn to love them, you do learn to see them as a family, and it's an amazing community to be a part of. I reckon one shock to the system was the amount of laundry that I'd end up coming home with. Like, it was so much, because you go through pre-season training and it's still quite cold, so you've got layers and layers that are just soaked in seawater from the Waitemata Harbour.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Get yourself involved in all the parent opportunities to go and help. Lots of energy comes from like year 9, year 10 novice parents to go into camps and to put your hand up for different roles. So that's a great way to get to know the sport, especially if you've had nothing to do with it. Just keep smiling. Just keep smiling, and then get the tissues ready and the big arms and the big hugs if they don't make selection. Because selection usually happens about end of January, mid-February for North Islands and Māori, and then it's big kind of like tears and cuddles.
For quite some years I also was definitely aspiring to be a Silver Fern, but then picking up an oar, getting in the boat, I loved the feeling of being on water, just being around water. It's part of the reason why I also loved water polo growing up. Yeah, I think with her having that sporting background, she understands what an athlete does and doesn't want to hear afterwards. She knows that there is a kind of cool down period that we need after a bad race, just to be there, love and support, and then give it maybe, like, depending on how bad the race was, a couple hours, maybe a day, and then go, so what happened? Do you want to talk about it? Rather than coming straight off the pontoon and what was that?
What do you say to a child if they don't make it?
Well, my child didn't want me to say anything, but I couldn't resist. Had to, because you want to be supportive and you want to be positive. And while it hurts at the time of having a unsuccessful result or missing out on a selection, you just want to keep in perspective and go, look, actually, tomorrow's brighter. It's all good. Just hang in there and keep going. You've got to celebrate everything, right? You celebrate the wins, the medals, the whatever. But even if they do something they've never done before, that's an achievement. So you can celebrate that.
Get ready for the washing.
Get ready for the laundry.
Lots of driving.
Double your groceries.
Double your groceries.
Lots of food. So much food.
Multiple pairs of socks.
Absolutely. Like, people joke about how they just don't want socks for Christmas. Get me socks for Christmas. Get me socks for my birthday. Like, please.
It's not all doom and gloom. There's always a tomorrow. It's forever optimistic. And I think the key is that instead of dwelling on what didn't work and what didn't happen and getting involved in horrible politics as any sport would have, you try and find the good, and you just basically pull them out of that hole that they've dug themselves into. And usually it's just a walk with me moment. Come with me, hold my hand, we'll get you there, and once they're striding out, they're off and away again.